Queen of the Ring, no holds barred. 3, I believe, went down yesterday. And I know you usually get a recap from me, and I recapped it shortly on stream after the event. But I actually want to do something different this time. I want to do 3 takeaways. 3 of the most important things I think happened last night that need to be discussed, whether it is a battle rapper's performance, whether it's something I've noticed in certain events or venues, or just something I feel needs to be talked about that might not be talked about in other blogs. So there's going to be 3. The first takeaway, that I got from last night is that the LA studio crowd is weird as fuck. There are too many times where I feel like there's a huge disconnect between the crowd and the artists that are performing, and usually you don't get that. There's been bad crowds before. There have been, biased crowds, but really, it's rare that you don't feel a connection between the two. And there was a lot of times last night where I felt like the performance of certain artists, which you could probably point to biasness maybe, but I feel like I've seen it way more than just last night. But there was a lot of them last night. I definitely saw it in See the Boss versus Farrah Funeral. And I saw it a lot throughout the night, and I've seen it a lot, man. That there's something about that studio that just makes people weird. I don't know, man. People are weird in there. I have fun in that studio. I think it's actually I think it's a dope experience being in that studio. Maybe Gnome 10 was a little weird because it was just the first time performing in an area like that. It was the first big event during the pandemic, so it was kind of weird to move through it, but I still enjoyed it, and I definitely enjoyed Me vs. Real Sick, and I really liked Me vs. Lou Castro in there. But I've seen a huge disconnect in that specific studio when they are doing events between the crowd. The crowd just seems robotic. It just seems like this is all I see in the crowd. And then every now and then it'll seem like they're reacting the way they're supposed to. And I say supposed to loosely because, look at last night. But that's definitely a takeaway. The LA studio crowd is weird. Take 2. See the Boss has one of the best flows in battle rap. I am not a prisoner of the moment. See the Boss versus Farrah Funeral. Farrah Funeral had, a couple gulps. She fucked up every single round. More towards the very start of the round. The first 4 bars of the first, she stumbled around. She choked throughout the second. She stumbly-bumbly throughout the third. But there was a huge takeaway from that battle, and that was See the Boss. I've never heard See the Boss before. She has one of the best flows in battle rap. One of the best flows I've ever heard in battle rap. So much so that there are almost no real punchlines in her style. Usually when someone says what I'm about to say, that it's a negative. When someone sounds like they're on a beat, that's usually a horrible thing. It's not a compliment in the battle rap realm. If you sound like when you're battling, it sounds like you're on a track. That used to be a diss. See the Boss sounds like she's on a track, but there's actually a positive to it. I don't see a negative to it. She talks. She's not layered. She's not intricate. Obviously she doesn't need to be, and I'm not saying she can't. But there's a lot of just sentences in her rounds. There's a lot of just talking. Not a lot of punching, not a lot of haymakers, not a lot of almost zero scheming. I don't think I heard her scheme for the most part at all, but the flow is crazy. The flow is so good that when she gets to usually the bars, either the second or the 4th bar, which we use as the reward, right? This is what we set everything up for. That line. This is the line that's supposed to hit. There's really no difference between the bar that hits and the bar that was set up behind it. There really isn't. It's just strictly a seamless, crazy flow. Don't know how long she's been in the game, but I'd like to see her on another card. That was a huge takeaway from the event, was See the Boss's flow. Crazy. Absolutely insane. It was interesting to see Farrah not do that good. It was kind of interesting to see her all over the place. And then that crowd, man, that crowd, it goes back to the first major takeaway. That crowd wasn't reacting to anything See the Boss was doing for a while. And they were reacting to a lot of things that Farrah was saying that was definitely did not garner reaction, for sure. That just goes back to the crowd just, many times last night and in many events that have been held in that area, that it's just a huge disconnect. But take number 2, Cedar Boss has one of the best flows in battle rap. Don't give a fuck. I'm not prisoner of the moment. I really only need to hear somebody once to come up with that. That flow is crazy. And it made all of her bars that if you took them at face value, didn't have much to it, but it highlights how good the flow is. And flow is kind of delivery at the same time. So delivery is crazy as well. That was take 2. Take 3, and I think the most important take, and I feel like there's multiple takes in this take, is the 40 bars performance versus KCJ. I was in Spaces, EFM, shout out to EFM. I was in Spaces the night before No Holds Barred. So Friday night, people were talking about 40 bars versus KCJ, and one of the biggest conversations that people I've seen had with KCJ and Vixen as well, and new women that are more active now and in the limelight now, as opposed to the female battle rap that we know, the Miss Hustles, the Jazz, the Officials, the Gaddises, the 40 bars, Couture's and women like that, face of women's battle rap and queen of women's battle rap. There were a lot of people that were having conversations in that space that were saying, if KCJ beats 40, what does that mean? And a lot of people said, the crown is crown the queen. And I think my answer, I thought was probably the most reasonable answer, is that I thought if KCJ had beaten 40 bars last night, it would just be KCJ beating 40 bars in a rap battle. When you are talking about the queen, listen, I know there are way more men in this shit than there are women. So I know it's a very small group of women that you could group together as far as female battle rap is concerned. It's probably in the hundreds, but you're talking, there's probably about 50, 60, 70,000 men that battle. And so I get it's a small, I get it's small, the community. But there are many women that you could pick from that have a long resume over the course of 5 to 10 plus years of work. I think Casey is one of the more active female battle rappers, but to say that she is the queen of female battle rap is wild. If you didn't watch 40 bars and Casey, I think before that battle, that conversation is insane to me. Casey has had some good performances, but there are women that you could choose from that have had some of the greatest moments in battle rap, that have been on the biggest stages, that have been against veteran female battle rappers, veteran male battle rappers. There are many females that have battled legendary battle rappers, crazy moments, crazy classics, body bags, like things that Casey has not done. And that is no slight to her. That is strictly seniority. That's based off seniority. There's women that have just put in so much more work. And I could even say that if you're talking about the face of battle rap, the face of female battle rap is still many of the faces that have came before the Vixens and before the Caseys. And if you didn't, if you didn't agree with me then, when you're talking about who runs female battle rap, the results of 40 bars and Casey was even more proof. 40 put on a master class. That battle was not close. The first round was a 30 in itself. The second round, Casey did better. That was definitely Casey's best round. And I do think that by the time 40 bars really started to hit hard, I thought it was too late. And I did give Casey the second round, but by the skin of her teeth, it was a very close round. That round is still, I think, debatable. But there are two rounds that are definitely not debatable. The first was a 30 ball in itself, and the third round was an easy win from 40 bars. One thing that definitely stuck out was the fluidity. There are battlers like B-Magic, Av, Punchers that don't really have a storyline to their rounds. They're almost sporadic. And obviously, if you look at people like that, it's not necessary. But when you are facing someone as tactical as 40 bars, it really highlights 40 bars' fluidity in her rounds as opposed to Casey's sporadic rounds. random gun bars, generic material, things that aren't transitioning well into when you're facing someone as smooth as 40, the way she raps and the way she sets her rounds up. That was a huge takeaway. How much better she was. How much better she was. You could say that she was smoother. You could say that she rapped better. Just overall, 40 Bars was a way better battle rapper last night. Masterclass, 100%. From just the punching to the performance to the body language to the confidence. She had everything. And when I was watching the face-off, and I posted this on Twitter today, when I was watching the face-off, I actually said that she looked intimidated. She looked intimidated by KCJ, and a lot of people didn't agree with me, but I used myself versus Real Sick as an example because I was very confident that I would beat Real Sick. I knew I was the veteran, but there was certainly something about Real Sick that represented a younger me or someone that people could say was taking my spot or trying to get in the way or trying to be the next Mike P. And although I think Real Sick is a completely different battle rapper than me, there were a lot of people that made him and me the conversation as far as being very similar to each other. And I was very defensive in the face-off. I got mad quick and I bugged out quick. And that was almost an intimidation. Although I was very confident and although I thought I was going to beat him, there was a part that felt like my back was up against the wall. And 40 looked like she was acting very defensively, and it looked like she felt the pressure of her back being up against the wall, or at least kind of like just backing a lion into a corner. She lashed out. And I wasn't sure if it came from supreme confidence of she knows what she's about to do tomorrow, or the worry of, if this chick beats me, this is going to piss me off because people are going to fucking talk like she's this and I know I'm this, so let me lash out. Definitely got my answer last night. 40, masterclass. Overall, I thought the event was good. There were a lot of hiccups from a lot of battlers, a lot of stumbles, but I thought there was some really good performances, and I thought those were the top 3 things that I personally take away. Obviously, there were other conversations, there were other battlers, there were other performances that went down that people are talking about and highlighted about, but those are the 3 things that stick out to me more than anything else. Guys, if you enjoy this video, if you enjoy the content that I put on this YouTube channel, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, put your notifications on, so every time I put out a video, you know it's coming. We got some behind the scenes stories coming back. I got a whole list of them, just haven't really got to sit down and do them, but we're going to get into those. We got a lot of, recaps coming up. Summer Madness is around the way, so I'm going to try to put out as much content as I possibly could on this channel. I think the full predictions that I'm going to have are going to come this week. So I'd probably say maybe as early as tomorrow, if not within the next 2 days. Get some more content for you guys. Battle Rap, we love you. Y'all take care, and I'll see you in the next one.